Shalom. I'm Eddie Chumney of Hebraic Heritage Ministries, and we welcome you to this week's Focus Israel Report. In this week's report, we're going to be sharing with you the third part of a series wherein Rick Wiles of True News is interviewing an individual who was formerly a spy within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. His name is Reza Khalili, but this is not his real name, and his voice has been disguised to protect his identity. In this interview, Reza Khalili will be sharing with us the religious mindset of Shiite Islam and how they believe that war in the Middle East involving Syria and Iran is necessary in order to bring about the 12th Imam, or the Shiite Muslim Messiah. Once we realize this, we will understand that Iran is not interested in negotiating to give up their nuclear program, and that war with Iran involving the United States and Israel is inevitable. When that war actually happens, however, remains to be seen. Now the interview with Reza Khalili.
This is True News. I'm Rick Wiles. CIA spy Reza Khalili will be here to discuss intelligence information indicating that Iran may be in possession of 2 North Korean neutron bombs and prepared to carry out an EMP attack on the USA. Reza will also discuss the Islamic ideology expressed in the book The Last 6 Months, which deals with what Muslims believe will happen after Iran and Syria are attacked. Is Iran plotting an EMP attack on the USA? Reza Khalili is on the telephone. He is the author of the book A Time to Betray, an astonishing double life of a CIA agent inside the Revolutionary Guard of Iran. His name and voice have been changed to protect his identity. Reza, welcome back to True News.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be back.
Okay, so if I follow this according to the Shiite theology that is espoused by Ayatollah Khamenei and Mr. Ahmadinejad, when Iran and Syria are attacked, the clock begins ticking, and there will be 6 months until the Islamic Messiah appears. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely right. I mean, I have it, it's on my website, Iran preparing for the last 6 months, under my special reports. But more so, I have shown it clearly in my book, A Time to Betray, of their ideology and looking forward to this day. So this is the important thing that we got to understand. They are looking for war, and therefore their war rhetoric, which is considered here in the West as merely a propaganda or talking to their choir, to their loyals in Iran. But that's not it. They truly believe in this. And they are looking forward to an attack on Iran because they've made the preparations for that scenario.
And those preparations, I assume, include carrying out simultaneous attacks on Israel, the USA, and also their Middle Eastern Arab nations that they are enemies with?
Yes, actually I have significant news on that which I will release in the coming days. But what's going to take, the preparation has been, thousands of cells have been placed throughout the world with Hezbollah, the Quds forces, Islamic Jihad, and other proxies, even in U.S. And these cells are ready to carry out the order, and they will attack simultaneously many cities and others. And at the same time, hundreds of missiles will rain down on Israel, and the war will expand. Hezbollah, Syria, and others will get involved, and there will be attacks on U.S. homeland. So that's the preparation, the kind of preparation they have done, because there's going to be chaos, havoc, and lawlessness in the world where 2/3 of the world population die. And so...
Wait a minute, they're expecting 2/3 of the human population to die?
They're expecting that 2/3 of the world's population will cease to exist due to wars, chaos, and lawlessness.
And is all that in 6 months?
And that's all in the 6 months. That all takes place from the trigger to the time of the coming.
2/3 of 7 billion people will die in 6 months according to the Islamic theology?
Yes, actually, the Ayatollahs in Iran recently stated that these hadiths have predicted a nuclear exchange. So they're preparing for a nuclear exchange. They've already formed a unit of preparation for chemical wars and nuclear bombs. And that's why they believe that Iran would fall. But at the same time, many other places are going to get destroyed. And that leads me to believe that they are much more into the program of their nuclear bomb. Perhaps they are arming their missiles as we are talking, while the world is negotiating and believing that they have not made the decision to get the nuclear bomb.
Okay, yesterday the Times of Israel reported that the Israeli Defense Force has called up a number of reserve units. Do you think this is in preparation for perhaps trouble with Egypt or along the Lebanese border, or do you think that Israel's calling up reserves because they expect this war to take place this summer?
Well, they have explained it as that they're getting prepared for instability in Egypt, but that's not that cannot be the real reason. The current Israeli army is very capable of protecting the homeland against instability in the region. My own opinion is that they're calling up the reserves. They are making the preparations. Actually, they started unloading nuclear material from their main nuclear facility a while back. Because they know that that would be one of the first targets, and then they have made preparations for several months now. And as we get closer, they're making further preparations. I believe Israel is getting ready for that confrontation, which they believe cannot be avoided at this time.
Okay, is the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Pentagon, intelligence agencies, are they actively preparing for the eventuality of Iranian terror cells unleashing hell inside U.S. cities?
Well, I think all the officials are aware of the threat. I think Pentagon, in my opinion, is making preparation for the confrontation in the Persian Gulf area and the surrounding region by placing a massive armada over there. There was just news that F-22 stealth fighters have been placed in the region, as well as aircraft carriers, submarines, and others. But I don't think that we are well protected at homeland. I think many of these cells are not known to the officials, and I think that the threat is there that they could cause real fear here.
But you don't have any information about what type of plans are being made to deal with that kind of chaos inside the USA?
Well, actually, I have been in touch with the Federal Bureau, and there was a piece that I released that terror cells are on high alert to attack U.S. I am working on that information, but from what I got, the cells are here. They are armed and ready to proceed. And actually, Ayatollah Khamenei has said this point blank, that should Iran be attacked, the response will be devastating and U.S. will not be spared. And so they are here. And other intelligence from within the guards point to the fact that they have even recruited people of Mexican origin, of Latin American origin, so not necessarily Iranian, because the majority of Iranians residing in America are against the regime, and they have come to U.S. ever since the Islamic Revolution took place. And so this would be Hezbollah cells, this would be those whom they've recruited in Latin America operation and in Mexico.
Do you think Iran has already locked down commitments from other rogue nations such as North Korea that they will join in the fight?
Well, it is strange because the hadiths have it as such that the yellow skin, this is how it's described it, will join in. That's how the hadiths have it, the Islamic hadiths.
Well, that could include the Chinese.
Yeah, but what Iran is going to do by attacking many facilities within the region, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, all within reach the missiles. The first reaction would be hitting all the oil fields and creating a situation where oil will go over $500, $600, $700 a barrel, a total collapse of world economy, then terror acts across the world, and a simultaneous attack with hundreds of missiles on Israel, and it will get worse from there. And so they believe that there will be nuclear exchange. And they believe that other parties will join. But the plain and simple is that this regime is very dangerous. It's a messianic regime, and we have to prepare accordingly. And the best option is to help the Iranians to overthrow this regime, and we're going to make preparation for that very fast.
One thing that I'm looking for are signs that Russia and China will become involved in this fight, not in the sense that they're going to attack the USA, but that they're going to use the chaos to grab some real estate that they've got their eyes on. For example, there have been reports that Vladimir Putin plans to move quickly with Russian troops in the Caucasus region and grab a lot of land. There are stories out of India. For example, months ago, there was a retired Indian military officer who said he is convinced China will launch a limited attack on India in the summer of 2012. And then just days ago, I posted an article from India on our website that said India prepared for war with China. So, Reza, I mean, will these other countries, while the U.S. and Iran are duking it out, are these other countries like China and Russia going to grab Taiwan, grab some of the islands, the Caucasus regions?
Well, here's the thing. In any mayhem and chaos, then the big powers would want to gain as much as they can. So it would be very logical for Russia, especially with Putin at the helm, to start grabbing lands of the former Soviet republics. Some of them could not withstand the Russian army. And so they could expand from there. An increase in oil prices and collapse of the global economy would help Russia drastically overnight. They would become much more of a power because of the economy and the price of oil, and they would demand more. China as well could wrap Taiwan up, seeing an opening there. So automatically, it's the mindset, not necessarily Russia, China, and U.S. Getting into a conflict, because that would be the end of life. But automatically, it will be a move towards a very chaotic situation, which would destabilize the world, and the leaders of the Islamic regime are fully aware of that. But their belief is a messianic belief. They don't care about the chaos and havoc, because they think that's a necessity for the end of times, and therefore the danger of this mentality.
Well, this concludes part 3 of an interview with Reza Khalili, a former spy within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, wherein he shares with us the religious mindset of the leaders of Iran and how they view that it is necessary to have war in the Middle East involving Syria and Iran in order for there to be the revealing of the 12th Imam, or the Messiah of Shiite Islam. Until we do it again, Shalom in Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.